How much do you dislike conflict? I am really not a fan. Today I have a quick tip on how to not only lessen the dread of conflict, but to stop torturing yourself every time it comes up. Hi, I'm Megan, nurse practitioner and nurse coach, and this video is for nurses who are looking to increase their satisfaction with their life, with their work, and just get over some of the frustration that they have in their day-to-day. I'm here to help give you some tips and tricks on how to give yourself some of the great care and dedication that you give to your patients. Let's talk about conflict. Maybe something happens at work, theoretically, of course, and you feel this conflict building between you and someone else. You feel that agitation and aggravation. And in an effort to make yourself feel better in the moment, you push it down and you step away from it. So instead of making the other person uncomfortable, or instead of making yourself uncomfortable in the moment, you take on that burden of a conflict, you plant it like a little seed so it can bloom and grow and flourish in your life. Seems a little bit backwards, right? But we've all done it. So I would love to give you the tools for eliminating all conflict in your life. Unfortunately, those tools do not exist. We're human beings. We have emotions and we have goals. And when other people get tangled up in there, we can end up with conflict. So if I can't eliminate conflict for you, this is a quick tip on how you can shift it so that it's not so awful. The idea came up a couple days ago when I was talking to a friend of mine about portion control. And anybody who's ever tried to lose weight knows that the term portion control pretty much makes you want to slap somebody. So in an effort to overcome this, we were talking about how if you have the idea of I'm going to choose a portion rather than portion control, some of that aggravation and angst that comes up with the term can leave. And ironically, what you actually get in that event is control. How does this even relate to conflict? What if instead of talking about conflict, we talked about conflict resolution? What I'm talking about is looking at what that ultimate goal is on the other side. Typically, this is either the productive end of a project, or maybe it's having good relationships with the people at work or with people in your family, but there's something that you want that you're feeling like you're being prohibited from. So what if we could shift the focus from the conflict to that awesome resolution, that end result, that prize? If we looked at conflict as the barrier to entry for peace, if we can look at what that goal is, what that utopia is on the other side of conflict, then we can look forward to that with anticipation rather than getting caught up in the drama of what has to happen first. If we could think of conflict as the first thing we need to do to feel better, we may be less prone to avoid it. As Robert Frost said, the best way out is always through. So how do we do this? I keep hoping that someday I'll get to that point where I'm so evolved that I can say, wasn't it adorable when I used to struggle with conflict? Obviously, that's not where we're at. Conflict is going to be continuous in our life due to the emotions that we have regarding our goals and what we want in life. So here's the key. I like to think of conflict as a river of misery. So something happens and you get thrown off the one shore into the river. You can't go back to shore because whatever happened putting you into the river can't be undone. So now you're stuck in this river, and all that you can do is see all the barriers to getting to the other side. Somehow in that moment, we lose sight of the fact that on the other side of the river is exactly what we want. It's our outcome. It's our awesome prize. So instead, we do one of three things. We either get into the river and we think, oh my God, there's all these alligators, and you focus on the alligators and how awful they are and how scary they are, and you could never get around them, and you sit there and you think about all of the permutations of how awful this conflict could be. The second option is you say, I'm not going any further into the river. I'm just going to stay here on the side and tread water until I'm exhausted, and I just sit here and resent the river. So that's when we just step aside and say, I'm not going to deal with it at all. The third problem is sometimes we forget there's an other shore altogether. We get so wrapped up in the drama and the movie that we're creating in our mind about the river that we forget that there's an outcome that we were hoping for in the first place. Here's the thing. Most alligators are only concerned with themselves. Maybe you're an alligator too and can swim right through. Getting to the other side is worth it, even if you get a little beat up along the way. Conflict resolution is not about changing the other person. I'm really sorry. But the truth is we can't change other people anyway, so this is really good news. I could give you all the steps for conflict resolution, but Google can do that. What I'm looking to do is show you that the resolution is what we want to focus on. It's about deciding that you want that end result so much that you're willing to go through the temporary discomfort of conflict to get there. If you can make this mental shift, the dread of conflict lessens, and you can get to the other side of the river with less pain, less fear, less drama, and maybe even some joyful anticipation of things to come. Let me know how this works for you. Try it the next time you maybe theoretically have some conflict at work. Until the next video, be brilliant, be kind. I'll see you soon.